My friend, what if I told you that a simple substance already present in your home has been used for centuries to unlock wealth, protect prosperity, and attract continuous financial flow? This is not superstition, and it is not luck. It is the intelligent use of symbol and belief, which speaks directly to the subconscious mind. Salt has always represented purity, order, and divine law. When it is placed in the right sacred location within your house, with understanding and faith, it sends a clear message to your subconscious. I live in abundance. Supply flows to me freely and endlessly. And remember this truth: the subconscious mind accepts the symbol and produces the result. In this message, you will discover why this ancient practice works, how it aligns your home with prosperity consciousness, and how thousands have unknowingly blocked abundance simply by ignoring this principle. Listen carefully, keep your mind open and relaxed, because what you are about to learn may quietly and permanently change the way money comes into your life. Salt has been revered across civilizations, not because of superstition, but because of what it represents to the human mind. In the language of the subconscious, symbols speak louder than logic. Salt symbolizes purity, preservation, order, and value. Long before money existed, salt itself was currency. When you consciously use salt with understanding, you are not trying to change the outside world, you are impressing an idea upon the subconscious mind, and that is where all visible results begin. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious mind accepts whatever is impressed upon it through feeling, repetition, and belief. Salt becomes effective not because of its physical nature, but because it serves as a tangible symbol that the subconscious can easily accept. When you place salt with a clear intention of abundance, you are giving your inner mind a physical confirmation of prosperity consciousness. The subconscious does not reason or argue, it accepts the symbol and acts upon it faithfully. Your mind has been conditioned, since childhood, to associate salt with necessity, value, and preservation. It keeps food from spoiling, enhances flavor, and protects what is valuable. When the subconscious sees salt placed deliberately, it associates this act with stability and continuity. This silently affirms the idea that wealth is protected, sustained, and always available. Once this idea is accepted internally, the subconscious begins to organize circumstances, opportunities, and behaviors that match that belief. It is important to understand that the power is not in the salt alone, but in the meaning you assign to it. Meaning is the language of the subconscious. When the meaning is clear, I am provided for, I am supported, supply flows to me, the subconscious responds by translating that belief into experience. This is why careless or doubtful use produces no result, while calm, confident intention produces change. By using salt as a conscious symbol, you are training your mind to expect abundance rather than lack. You are quietly shifting from fear-based thinking to faith-based thinking. As this new impression deepens, money-related tension dissolves, decisions become clearer, and opportunities appear naturally. The outer world simply reflects the inner conviction that has been accepted as true. This is the immutable law of mind in action, working gently, silently, and unfailingly. Every home has areas that unconsciously represent flow, stability, and exchange. The sacred place in the home is not chosen by chance, nor is it merely about physical location. It symbolizes the point where thought meets manifestation, where inner belief begins to take form in the outer world. When this place is understood and respected, it becomes a silent reminder to the subconscious mind that prosperity is welcome, safe, and supported within your life. The subconscious mind is deeply influenced by environment. Dr. Joseph Murphy often explained that surroundings constantly impress ideas upon the inner mind, whether we are aware of it or not. When a specific place in the home is associated with abundance, order, and intention, it becomes a mental anchor. Each time the mind acknowledges that space, even unconsciously, it reinforces the belief that supply flows freely and naturally. This sacred place represents movement, money coming in, opportunities circulating, and energy remaining balanced rather than stagnant. When it is kept clean, calm, and purposeful, it sends a powerful signal to the subconscious that abundance is not blocked. Disorder, neglect, or indifference in this area can quietly reinforce ideas of limitation or delay. The subconscious accepts these impressions without judgment and reflects them faithfully. Placing a meaningful symbol in this location strengthens the impression. It becomes a point of focus, not through constant attention, but through quiet certainty. The subconscious thrives on consistency, not effort. Once this place is associated with prosperity, the mind begins to expect favorable outcomes. Expectation is a creative force. What you expect with calm confidence must eventually appear in form. This is not about controlling money or forcing results. It is about alignment. When the home environment reflects harmony and intention, the mind relaxes and resistance dissolves. In this relaxed state, ideas flow more easily, decisions become wiser, and opportunities are recognized rather than overlooked. Prosperity is not chased, it is allowed. The sacred place in the home acts as a bridge between inner conviction and outer experience. It quietly affirms that wealth belongs, that success is natural, and that supply is continuous. As this belief settles into the subconscious, life responds effortlessly. People, situations, and resources begin to align without strain. What appears as luck is simply the subconscious expressing what it has accepted as true. Belief is the activating force behind every experience of prosperity or lack. Without belief, even the most powerful principles remain dormant. Dr. Joseph Murphy consistently taught that the law of attraction does not respond to words, wishes, or rituals alone. It responds to conviction impressed upon the subconscious mind. When belief is present, the mind accepts an idea as true, and that acceptance sets invisible forces into motion. The subconscious mind is impartial. It does not analyze whether a belief is helpful or harmful, it simply acts upon what it accepts. When a person carries an unconscious belief that money is difficult, scarce, or stressful, the subconscious faithfully produces experiences that confirm that idea. Conversely, when belief is gently redirected toward abundance, ease, and flow, the subconscious begins to arrange life accordingly. This is the hidden mechanism behind what many call attraction. Belief is strengthened not by force, but by repetition and emotional calm. When the mind is relaxed, it becomes receptive. In this state, even a simple thought, held with certainty, penetrates deeply. Once accepted, the subconscious communicate at belief through intuition, behavior, and perception. Opportunities that once went unnoticed suddenly become visible. Decisions become aligned with growth rather than fear. The outer world shifts because the inner command has changed. Faith, in this sense, is not blind hope. It is quiet knowing. It is the absence of doubt rather than the presence of struggle. When belief activates the law of attraction, there is no strain, no obsession, and no anxiety. The mind rests in the assumption that supply is natural and continuous. This mental atmosphere becomes fertile ground for prosperity. As belief deepens, resistance dissolves. Fear-based patterns begin to loosen their grip, and emotional reactions to money soften. The subconscious now works in harmony with conscious desire instead of opposing it. What once required effort begins to occur through timing, guidance, and favorable circumstances. Belief does not demand immediate proof. It operates beyond the senses. When you accept abundance as a mental reality, physical evidence must follow in its own way and time. This is the immutable law of mind. The law of attraction is not something you try to use. It is something that responds automatically once belief has taken root. When belief is established, results are inevitable, natural, and lasting. Intention is the invisible force that gives direction to thought and meaning to action. Without intention, Objects remain neutral and experiences remain random. Dr. Joseph Murphy emphasized that the subconscious mind responds to purposeful thought charged with feeling, not to empty actions. When intention is present, even the simplest object becomes a living symbol that communicates directly with the deeper levels of the mind. An ordinary object holds no power by itself. Its influence begins the moment meaning is consciously assigned to it. The subconscious mind understands meaning far more clearly than logic. When you hold an object with a calm, focused intention, you are imprinting it with an idea. That idea becomes a mental shortcut, allowing the subconscious to recognize and accept a belief without resistance. In this way, intention transforms the ordinary into a channel through which the mind expresses its creative power. Intention must be clear, simple, and relaxed. Strained desire weakens the impression, while quiet certainty strengthens it. When intention is formed in a peaceful state, the subconscious receives it as a fact rather than a request. This is why practices performed in calm confidence are effective, while those driven by fear or desperation produce little result. The inner mind reflects the emotional tone behind the thought. Once intention is impressed, the object becomes a reminder rather than a tool. Each time it is seen or remembered, the subconscious is gently reinforced with the same idea. There is no need for repetition through effort. Consistency through presence is enough. The subconscious thrives on familiar impressions and begins to operate as if the intention were already fulfilled. Through this process, intention reshapes perception. The mind becomes attuned to opportunities, guidance, and inspired action. Choices align naturally with the intended outcome. What appears as coincidence is simply the subconscious responding intelligently to the direction it has been given. This transformation does not occur through the object itself, but through the shift in inner awareness it represents. The object becomes a bridge between conscious desire and subconscious acceptance. It anchors belief in physical form, making it easier for the mind to assume the reality of success and abundance. When intention and belief move together, manifestation becomes effortless. The subconscious no longer resists, it cooperates. Ordinary objects, charged with purpose, become quiet partners in the creative process. Through intention, the unseen becomes visible, and the inner decision expresses itself as outer experience. Hidden blocks to money do not originate in the external world. They are formed quietly within the subconscious mind through repeated emotional experiences, words, and beliefs. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that many people sincerely desire wealth, yet unknowingly carry inner resistance that prevents its expression. Mental alignment is the process of bringing conscious desire and subconscious belief into harmony so that there is no internal conflict. When a person consciously affirms abundance but subconsciously feels unworthy, fearful, or doubtful, the subconscious always prevails. It accepts the deeper emotional impression rather than the spoken word. These inner contradictions create delay, frustration, and repeated financial struggle. Mental alignment begins when awareness replaces denial and calm understanding replaces force. Alignment does not require analyzing the past or reliving negative experiences. It requires choosing a new inner agreement. When the mind is relaxed and receptive, old patterns loosen naturally. By gently affirming ideas of worth, sufficiency, and ease, the subconscious begins to release beliefs rooted in lack. This shift often happens subtly, without dramatic effort, yet its effects are profound. As alignment deepens, emotional reactions to money begin to change. Anxiety softens, guilt fades, and comparison loses its power. The mind no longer associates wealth with stress or conflict. Instead, money is seen as a neutral, supportive force that enables growth and expression. This change in emotional tone signals the subconscious that it is safe to allow abundance. Once resistance is removed, the subconscious works intelligently to support prosperity. Thank you. It influences behavior, timing, and perception. You may find yourself making wiser decisions, attracting cooperative people, or recognizing opportunities that were previously invisible. These changes are not accidental, they are the natural outcome of internal coherence. Mental alignment also restores confidence and clarity. When the inner world is orderly, the outer world reflects that order. There is less struggle and more flow. Effort is replaced by inspired action, and persistence is guided rather than forced. The removal of hidden blocks is not about becoming someone new, but about releasing false agreements with limitation. As the mind aligns with abundance, wealth no longer feels distant or reserved for others. It becomes a natural extension of your inner state. When thought, feeling, and belief move in the same direction, the path to prosperity opens effortlessly and permanently. Faith is not a sudden emotional surge or blind optimism. It is a steady inner conviction that remains calm regardless of outer conditions. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious mind responds to what is held consistently, not to what is felt occasionally. When faith is maintained with quiet certainty, it becomes a creative force that produces results in its own perfect way. Consistency is the key that allows faith to mature. A belief held briefly has little impact, but a belief held steadily impresses itself deeply upon the subconscious. Each time faith is reaffirmed without doubt or anxiety, it strengthens the inner assumption that abundance is natural and dependable. Over time, this assumption becomes the dominant pattern of thought, and the subconscious acts upon it automatically. Faith does not require constant attention. In fact, excessive focus often introduces doubt. True faith operates best when it is relaxed and unforced. Once an idea is accepted as true, the subconscious continues working even when the conscious mind is occupied elsewhere. This is why lasting results often appear unexpectedly. The mind has already agreed to the outcome. Continuous financial supply is the natural expression of sustained belief. When faith is consistent, fear-based reactions diminish. There is less urgency, less worry, and less emotional attachment to immediate results. This emotional stability allows clearer thinking and better judgment. Decisions become aligned with growth rather than scarcity, and actions are guided by intuition instead of pressure. As faith settles into the subconscious, it influences habitual thinking. Conversations, expectations, and self-talk subtly shift. The mind begins to expect favorable outcomes as normal rather than exceptional. This expectation becomes a silent command that life responds to. People, circumstances, and opportunities align with this inner agreement. Setbacks no longer disturb the inner state because faith is no longer dependent on appearances. Temporary delays are understood as part of a larger process. This understanding prevents discouragement and preserves momentum. The subconscious continues moving toward the accepted end without interruption. Consistent faith creates continuity. Wealth no longer arrives in brief bursts followed by loss. Instead, it flows steadily and sustainably. This is not because conditions are perfect, but because the inner cause remains stable. When faith is maintained, the law of mind operates without resistance. The result is a lasting sense of security, confidence, and continuous financial supply expressed naturally in everyday life. As we come to the close of this message, remember this essential truth. Nothing you have heard today is about luck, superstition, or forcing life to change. It is about understanding how the mind works and learning to cooperate with the laws that are already governing your experience. Wealth, like health and peace, begins as an inner conviction before it ever appears as an outer condition. When you use symbols with intention, when your home reflects order and purpose, when belief replaces doubt, and when faith is held consistently and calmly, the subconscious mind responds faithfully. It accepts the impression and expresses it through circumstances, ideas, and opportunities that lead to increase. The outer results are simply the echo of the inner agreement you have made with abundance. Do not watch your bank balance with anxiety or measure your progress with impatience. The law of mind is always working, even when you cannot see immediate evidence. Remain peaceful, confident, and assured. Quiet expectancy is far more powerful than strained effort. What you have accepted mentally must unfold naturally in your life. Let this understanding stay with you. Carry the feeling of supply, order, and trust wherever you go. Know that you are supported by an infinite intelligence that never fails and never withholds. As you maintain this awareness, prosperity will no longer feel distant or uncertain. It will become a normal, steady, and lasting part of your everyday experience.